Hey guys, how's it going? I hope everyone is doing well. I'm doing all right when you tune in and see this. So, this is going to be a general reading for both Scorpio and for Sagittarius. Um, and we want to say, first of all, happy birthday to all of the sun sign Scorpios out there, whether you have already had your birthday or your birthday is coming up, since I'm filming this on October 27th. Right, but this is going to be two separate readings, general readings for both Scorpio and for Sagittarius for November 2023. So after the live is done, I will be putting in timestamps in the comments down below and in the description box down below as well for some people who just want Scorpio or some people who just want Sagittarius. I'm also going to be starting with some quick astrology notes for everyone during this time before we get into Scorpio. All right, but yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I wanted to switch up the view a little bit here so you can see the cards more in detail. So you'll see that after we get rid of the sound bell and all that stuff. Yeah, I also wanted to say happy Halloween to those that celebrate, if you do celebrate Halloween. All right. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into the astrology notes and then we'll go further and go to the reading for Scorpio. All right. So these are general astrology notes for everyone during this time for the month of November. All right, so we're starting off here with the first astrology note is on November 2nd, we have Vesta is going to go retrograde. So Vesta is all about aspirations, plans, goals. Okay, so it's going to be stopping on November 2nd, and then it's going to be appearing to be going backwards, or we're going to be feeling the effects of more of it going backwards. So let me just turn this down. So for some people, that could be that goals plan longer. Okay, when Vesta is going into retrograde, it could have you going back over aspirations, plans, or goals in the past that somehow are relating to or need to be worked with goals, plans, and aspirations for currently or for the future as well. All right. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. All right. And then just a few days later on November 4th, we have Saturn is going direct. Okay. So that is when Saturn is going to stop appearing that it's going backwards, right? And it's going to slowly start its forward motion again. Okay. So Saturn is, kind of like a strict, stern father time energy. It rules responsibilities and limitations, just to name a few. But when Saturn is going direct, the more positive side to that as well could be that there's new advancement or new development in certain areas. Okay, but something that you're definitely going to have to put a lot of work into, or maybe you already have before in the past, put in a lot of work into something. And so that's when you're going to see possibly some new advancement or development in that regard to Saturn being direct. Okay. And then we have on November 5th, we have two different things happening on November 5th. The first one is we have a last quarter moon. And then the other one is we're going to have Jupiter is semi-square to Neptune. Okay, so anytime we have a square or even semi-square, it can cause some frictional energies. Okay, but Jupiter is the planet of expansion, right? It magnifies and creates bigger energy around everything that Jupiter touches. Okay, so when we're talking about Neptune, though, we're talking about fantasies, creative energy, but also like confusing what's real, what's not real, right? So when Jupiter is semi-square to Neptune, it can be that there is more fantasy type of energy, or possibly in the more negative side, some people can be more misled in certain areas. Okay, so that's why, again, there's a little bit of that frictional energy, and it's just kind of something to be aware of, but never to be fearful or scared or anything like that. Okay. Now, when we're moving forward here on November 8th, Venus is going to be entering into Libra, okay? And so Venus is the ruler of Libra, all right? So this is a really good energy and auspicious time, right? So Venus to name a few, is about love, beauty, balance, justice, right? Higher forms of money or wealth. And it's going to be entering into one of the signs that it rules, air sign Libra. Okay. So, again, really nice energy there as far as the love, the beauty, the balance, the justice, higher forms of money, that kind of thing. So, really nice energy on November 8th. And then we have on November 10th, Mercury, which rules communications, electronics, just to name a few. The big communicator planet is going to be entering into fire sign Sagittarius. Okay, so there can be more talks about Sagittarius themes like religion, law, politics, travel. Did I already say travel? I guess travel again, if I already said it. That kind of thing. So, yes, religion, law, politics, and travel, education, right? Those kind of like typical Sagittarius kind of themes. It could be also that when we're talking about Sagittarius and the way that they typically, when we generalize Sagittarius, they maybe communicate more with this childlike manner or this humor that is around Sagittarius general kind of energy. So that could be also kind of infusing the way that we communicate with others and ourselves around that kind of middle point of November as well. All right. And then as we move forward on November 13th, we have a new moon in Scorpio. So that is when the moon, is a good time. The new moon is a good time to manifest something. You can manifest something or make your prayers, your goals, your aspirations at any time. But some people like to do it during the new moon when it's smaller. So then it can grow to that full moon and reach like its full power. Okay. So a lot of people believe that new moons are good for new beginnings, new planting seeds, new goals, that kind of thing. All right. So since we're in, of course, the Scorpio season during this time, the new moon is in Scorpio. So for the sun sign Scorpios out there, or the people who have a lot of Scorpio in your chart, this always a good point to kind of look back at also what was happening for you, let's say during the last new moon in Scorpio, okay, during your season as well. All right. Now, moving forward on November 19th, we have Athena Pallas, which is an asteroid, is going to be entering into Scorpio. So, Athena Pallas, like the Greek goddess Athena, the god of war, wisdom, intelligence, right? She's going to amplify when she moves into Scorpio, Scorpio themes around talents in the arts, wisdom, defense, intuition, justice, right? That's kind of the positive side to it. Now, on the more negative side to it, right, there can be when Athena Pallas enters into Scorpio, there can be more of this self-sabotaging energy, self-destructive energy, or even being scared of risk or risk aversion, if you want to call it, right? But the more positive side, again, to that Athena Pallas energy is talents in the arts, wisdom, defense, intuition, justice, but also the power of thought and visualization. Okay. So that's definitely something to kind of keep aware of as well. And especially because it's a couple of days after that new moon in Scorpio as well. Then we have on November 20th, we have a first quarter moon. All right. And then on November 22nd, the sun officially enters into Sagittarius. And then on November 24th, Mars is going to be entering into Sagittarius. So Mars on the more positive side is the ruler of Aries, the first sign of the zodiac. So it's entrepreneurship, go-getter energy, right? It's go big or go home when we're talking about Mars and that type of energy with Aries, the first sign of the zodiac. Okay, so when Mars enters into Sagittarius, the planet that is ruled by Jupiter and expansion and expanding everything that it's focusing on, right? That's when there can be more action because Mars is a very action-oriented kind of planet, okay? It can also bring about more assertive qualities, the assertive qualities that are naturally a part of Mars with that Sagittarius energy of talking about religion, politics, education, travel, those kind of themes, but also pairing that go big or go home action, assertive qualities of Mars with Sagittarius energy of, I'm trying to think of the way to say it, like, okay, so Mars, ruler of Aries, is fire sign, right? Aries is a fire sign. Sagittarius is also a fire sign. So it's like adding the higher vibrational frequencies or positive qualities of fire sign energy together. Okay. So it's like extra backing, I feel like, extra action oriented backing, okay, during that time around November 24th or so, okay. And if we're, in the States, right, that's maybe a day or two or a couple of days after Thanksgiving, right? So lots of action being taken, maybe possibly around the holiday or during holiday time, if you partake of that or whatever. um, but yeah, let's see what else here we have. We just have two more notes before we switch over to the Scorpio reading. So then on November 25th, we have Saturn is going to be semi-square Chiron. So Saturn again is that kind of strict, stern father energy. It's about responsibilities and limitations. And Chiron is the wounded healer. Okay. So at this time, when Saturn is semi square Chiron, it can be about um, talking about our vulnerability, maybe around some type of responsibilities and limitations, and how we can find the healing around that and continue to be vulnerable or become vulnerable if we weren't before, vice versa, etc. All right. And then finally, here, the last note on November 27th, we have the full moon in Gemini. Okay. So again, full moon time, we always, or I always try to say, a lot of people say this too, and the spirits and ancestors, all of that, say that full moon energy is a very intense energy, right? So I think there's been studies done, right, that say that like there's more hospital visits and car accidents and weird, intense energy happening around the full moon. Okay, so you could say that that was more of the lower vibrational frequency or negative side of any full moon, right? But then on the more positive side, it can be also like a completion energy, something finally coming together, all the pieces to the puzzle, as well. So that's always, can be a very transformative time as well. All right. So that's pretty much what I wanted to go over as far as the general astrology for everybody for November. So I'll put a link to, or not a link, well, yeah, I usually have one in there. There's like astrologycafe.com has like the astrology for the whole year, and it'll tell you the time frames when these things are occurring, depending on where you are in the world too. If you want to know the exact degrees of when this planet is doing this with vice versa, etc. Okay, so I just kind of call out the basic stuff, but if you want to get more into it, I will be putting that in the description box below if it's not already there. Okay. All right. So at this time, and I forgot my music. I turned it down and then it forgot to turn it back up. It's just like a little ambient for the dogs as well and all that stuff. But yeah, at this, and speaking of ambient noise, we're going to do a sound bell here and kind of tune into the Scorpio energy for November and get into the Scorpio reading. So I've pulled the cards here ahead of time, just to save time, right? But afterwards, you will see me shuffle and pull the cards again for Sagittarius. So if you've been to my channel before, you kind of know the deal. But for any new people, you'll usually see at least one sign being shuffled on screen. Again, that's just kind of to save time. And I also put in the timestamps before the shuffle and after the shuffle for some people who are not watching the live and they don't care about the shuffle or they don't have time. So I always give people that option as well. All right, so we're going to go ahead and do our sound bell here. If you're sensitive to sound or listening with headphones, maybe just turn it down a little bit, but it's not going to be forever. All right. So, this is a great time for me to reground myself and check in with my guides as well to make sure I'm delivering the messages to you guys as clearly as possible. And also a great time for you to check in with your breathing, take a couple of moments, check in with your guides too, all that good stuff. All right. So, here we go. So, this is going to be for Scorpio. Alrighty. Scorpio. Let's see what we have here for you coming up for November. Also wanted to say, I forgot to say this in the beginning, but all the readings that I do are timeless. So, it says for November 2023, but it can certainly be for a couple months, in the past or even a couple months in the future. So hopefully whenever you see this video, there is something here for you and for you to take away from it. All right. So I'm just going to pan down a little bit more so you guys can see. I think that's as far as I can go there. The cards, but I will be holding them up one by one. Okay, maybe I'll just leave it like that. All right. So yes, so we're gonna start by calling them out and then kind of go from there. But the first four at the top, which I think hopefully you can see, let me move some of them over this way a little bit. Yes, the first main four at the top, the bigger cards. And we also have a fifth one over here, but that's the tarot confirmation card that we do more towards the end. But we're going to start off with those, okay? And then we have cards underneath it as well. I'm using two different decks. And so we'll talk about those cards where exactly Spirit wants them to be discussed, all right? But let's go ahead and call out your cards here, Scorpio. Again, happy birthday to all of the sun sign Scorpios out there, okay? Whether you've already had your birthday or it's coming up. All right, so we've got the King of Sacred Circles, also known as King of Pentacles, in the reverse position. We have the Princess of Sacred Circles in the reverse position. We have the Justice card in the reverse position, and we have the Hermit card in the right side up position here. All right, so let's see here. Scorpio. As far as other zodiac signs that are showing up here for you, as far as the major arcana, you have the Hermit, which is Virgo, right? You've got the Strength card that we'll talk about later. That's Leo, okay? And then you have the Death card, which is your card here, Scorpio. So for some of you guys, you could be dealing with another Scorpio, a Virgo, or a Leo. Or if you're not dealing with someone with that sun sign, you could have a lot of those placements heavily in your birth chart, or someone else could, or could even be referencing Virgo season, Leo season, Scorpio season of this year, of last year, or even next year. All right. Or again, it means nothing at all. I just like to kind of, call it out in the beginning and all that good stuff. Okay. But yeah, it's always a good omen, though, in any reading, especially when we're doing zodiac readings, to see your official card. So because you have the Death card, the Scorpio card here, Scorpio, that's always kind of a nice omen. So we'll talk about it a little bit later when we get to it. But let's go one by one here and see what we have for your reading. All right, so Scorpio, we're starting off here with the King of Sacred Circles in that reverse position. And I also forgot to say, and I forgot to write it down, but we'll do it right now, real quickly, is that each one of these top cards is going to be corresponding to a week's time frame or so throughout November, if you're watching this for November. All right, so I'm just going to pull up my calendar here. All right. But we're going to say from November 1st through the 7th. Okay, that's going to be the first week. And then from November 8th through, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, the 14th is going to be the second week. And then November 15th, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 through the 21st is going to be the third week or the third card. And then November 22nd through November 30th will be the fourth week or fourth card. Okay. So, one is maybe a little bit longer than the other, but again, it's not exact, right? These are kind of general time frames that things may occur. All right. So now that I wrote that down and stuff, I'll leave it over here. Look at it. Let's go back to your first card here, Scorpio. So we were saying that this could happen around November 1st through the 7th, but it's not set in stone with this King of Sacred Circles in the reverse position. Here we have Earth sign energy, so Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, right? But this could be that we're picking up something from the recent past here, Scorpio, since it's your first card in particular too. We're also picking up recent past or whatever the past is for you. It could be a couple of days ago, weeks, months, years, etc. Right? There could be this energy here that is either about you or someone, multiple people, general environment situation that's maybe not feeling as abundant as you normally do or as they normally do, or the energy in general. Okay. And now it could be about holding back some type of truth here, Scorpio, in that first week of November. Because if he was right side up, this Native American man, this older gentleman, is he's a king, right? But he has the drum and he's about lineages, he's about inheritances, he's about the oral traditions and passing down stories and giving something to the younger generation. So when it's in that reverse position here, Scorpio, it could be that again, there is some type of truth being held back by you or someone else that isn't quite ready to give back in that way, or maybe someone isn't ready to inherit something, whether it's financially inherit something or inherit something more on the spiritual, emotional side. Okay. It could also be that there is some type of masculine energy, divine masculine energy, that is not feeling particularly confident, okay, during this time. So it could be a man that is in your life, but it doesn't have to be an actual man. It could just be anyone who has a lot of masculine energy. It could even be yourself, right? We all have I was about to say positive and negative. Yes, that's two, but I don't say that the gender is either positive or negative. What I was trying to say was we all have both the feminine and the masculine kind of energies, okay? But in particular here, Scorpio, when this card is next to the following card, right? They're both from the same minor arcana. So you've got the King of Sacred Circles in reverse and the Princess of Sacred Circles in reverse. It can be that there's something going on here with family, okay? Because again, they're the same minor arcana. But it could also be that if it's not family, right? But what does family mean, first of all? Like it can be actual blood family, or it can be the family that we create for ourselves. So it can be not only blood family, blood relations, but it can be friends, right? It can be coworkers. It can be whatever you consider a family or someone else, considers a family here. So there could be some type of family issues going on, since again, they're in the same kind of minor arcana energy here. But in particular, it feels like Scorpio, if I was to say, looking throughout your whole reading, if there was something that you wanted to accomplish during the month of November that is within your control, or manifest something that is within your control, I would say hold off until that kind of end of November, right? So from around November 22nd through November 30th, or maybe even into the first couple of days of December. I would hold off until then because there's looking like there's more of these red lights. Okay, if we're talking about driving, right? So you've got orange and red lights. So the first 2 weeks are like red lights, then it's kind of still an orange, and then you have a green more towards the end of November into December. Okay, but again, just kind of family issues that we're talking about, whether it's blood relation or with friends or even different parts of yourself, what have you. They're both feeling this lack of abundance or confidence here. Again, either financially, because the sacred circles in this deck is the same as pentacles. So pentacles are coins or money, right? Finances. But it can also be our values, right? So what do we value in ourselves and others? So how do we get valued? How do we get compensated for what we're doing, right? Again, whether it's financially and or in other ways, right? With support, with reciprocity, with confirmation, right? All the different ways that we can show support. Okay, but before we go further here, I want to go back again to the first week, that King of Sacred Circles in that reverse position here. Okay, because this is where Spirit wanted me to talk to you about your other two cards that were underneath it. Okay, so I like to call these the sponsor cards that made it possible for this card to come out. All right, and both of these cards are definitely more of some past energy here. Again, it could be a couple of days ago, weeks, months, years, etc. But they made it possible for this King of Sacred Circles in the reverse position to kind of show up here. Okay, so what we have on one side is the Ten of Cups in the reverse position, and on the other side we have the Four of Swords in the right side up position here. Okay, so it looks like here, Scorpio, that in the past there was some type of emotional ending, new beginning that perhaps didn't happen or was put on hold or wasn't well received with that Ten of Cups in the reverse position. Again, it could have something to do with family. Ten of Cups definitely has family type of energy. It could also have been some type of celebration, emotional celebration that didn't happen or was put on hold, something like this, okay? But on the other side, when we see it right next to this Four of Swords in the right side up position, it's almost like there was too much control and denial and trying to hide something, right? So we see this Japanese woman is burying the sword in the sand. Okay, so the swords in tarot talk about our mental, right? So in particular with the Four of Swords, it can represent anxiety, worry, overthinking, that kind of thing. And so it's like if this celebration that didn't happen or wasn't well received or was put on hold, or this family event or this emotional satisfaction around some type of ending, new beginning didn't happen or wasn't well received, then it can make sense why there would be a little bit more anxiety, worry, or overthinking. But with the Four of Swords, it's a little bit more of this controlling energy too, and perhaps trying to hide it and bury it instead of kind of work through it. So again, this is past energy that made it possible for this King of Sacred Circles in the reverse position to show up here for you, Scorpio. All right, so if it's adding to the family stuff that I've been talking about, it's going to be family for everyone. And again, what is family? It could be not just blood relations, but friends, coworkers, etc. Right? That it could also just be this feeling of not quite ready to pass something on or to voice kind of truth, or to accept an inheritance, or accept a truth, right? It could also be here because it's right next to Princess of Sacred Circles in the reverse position, Scorpio, that it's a little bit of this hesitancy to plant seeds for the future in some way, perhaps around finances and or being valued, right? So here, this Native American woman, if she was right set up, is pregnant with the seeds of possibility. And she also has another child already in her arms. But when it's in the reverse position, it's like, I'm not ready to plant the seeds for how exactly I want my future. Or I feel like I don't have enough financial support to do that, or I feel like I don't have enough emotional support, or I'm not being valued correctly in some way here, or I'm just overall my confidence is, or somebody, if it's not you directly, Scorpio, somebody's confidence can definitely be affected here. But let's keep going and see what else we have. All right. Now, by the time, and oh yes, for this, I forgot to say the dates. Again, they're not set in stone. But for the Princess of Sacred Circles, the second card here, this can be from around November 8th through the 14th or so, not set in stone, okay? Now, by the time we get to the third card, we were saying this could be from around November 15th through the 21st or so. Again, not set in stone, but we have the Justice card in the reverse position. And I just realized I forgot to call this out in the beginning. I was like, you've got Virgo, Leo, Scorpio. Well, you also have Libra. Duh, it was sitting right here. And for some reason, I was probably looking at some other card, thinking about something else. So you also have Libra energy here as well. Okay. So it could be dealing with a Libra. You've got a lot of Libra in your chart, or someone does, or it could be referencing Libra season, or it means nothing at all as far as the Libra. We just want to kind of mention it. But yes, with this Justice card in the reverse position, it could be that you, by the third week here of November, Scorpio, are feeling like, I don't feel this is about you, but you could be feeling that some actions aren't justified, or some type of truth and justice that you wanted for a situation or an energy perhaps didn't happen or go down the way that you had hoped. Okay, but let's look what's underneath it to get even more insight, right? We have over here, this is past energy again, the sponsor cards, as I like to call them. So we've got the Five of Cups in reverse, and we have the Death card, your Scorpio energy, in the right side up position, and we're looking at it with this Justice card in the reverse position. Okay, so Scorpio, yeah, it doesn't feel like you. Like I said, when I first saw these cards, it feels like someone else here. But of course, it could be for some Scorpios, right? It is a general reading meant for multiple people. It's not an individual reading. But what I see here with this Five of Cups in the reverse position, that's what we would call a good reversal here in the past. Perhaps somebody emotionally was starting to say, you know what, I've been focusing too much on the negative. I also want to look at the positive, and I want to look at the gray areas. Or I just want to be more open to other people and or energies, spiritual energies too, of things kind of being easier for me. Someone decided to do that in the past here with that Five of Cups in the reverse position. Now, when you put it alongside the Death card in the right side up position, that's you, a good omen that I said earlier, when you see your own card in your own reading. This is like, it brought some type of ending, new beginning, fresh start energy here that was really needed. Perhaps, though, it wasn't enough to make the Justice card be in the right side up position. Perhaps it was still that something was out of balance, right? When we talk about justice themes, it's something out of balance. Lady Justice here in reverse is out of balance, okay? And because of the cards surrounding it, but also it's like there's something to do with truth and evolution, positive and negative, rules of society, can be anytime we deal with the Justice card, dealing with the court systems, legal cases, that kind of thing. That's the energy there as well, but it doesn't have to be. That again, this Five of Cups reverse and the Death card right side up, excuse me, being like, even though somebody did their homework here in the past, Scorpio, um, and there was transformation and letting go of the old to make room for the new, right? I usually call the Death card the cleaning out your closet, right? Donating old clothes or getting rid of old clothes to make room for either just your closet to be more open or for new clothes to come in, right? It's kind of a metaphor, right? So obviously we're not really talking about clothes. All right. But it perhaps, wasn't enough here, Scorpio. For some of you guys, it could be that with this card in the reverse position too, and the Death card underneath it, it could be you or someone else with the general environment letting go of, you know what, things aren't going to be all the way balanced, or this person's actions aren't going to be justified, or I kind of am giving up. Some people may feel that they're giving up on having that evolution and truth here, okay? Just because of the cards before it. Again, that family energy with the King of Sacred Circles and the Princess of Sacred Circles in reverse. Just feeling like, again, more of these lights. And then you've got the orange light with the Justice card, okay? And so it could be that by the middle of November, you or someone else is just like surrendering a little bit here, not necessarily giving up, but just being patient, biding your time, something like this, okay? So that kind of goes in nicely to the next card we're going to talk about here, the Hermit in the right side position. So now we have Virgo energy, official card for Virgo, right? But now we have that slowed down energy is really great. Earth energy for being more patient or biding our time, right? So to go from the Justice card to the Hermit card right side up, it's like, yes, now I'm going to tap into my intuition even more. I'm going to go off on the cliff and take a couple of deep breaths, right? Go away from the crowd, the noises, the distractions, whether it's physically and or spiritually, to ask myself, what do I really feel? What does turn this down. What does my intuition tell me about this? Okay, what's my gut reactions, my first reactions to these things? Okay, so it could be also with the Justice card in the reverse position before in the third week, before we get to the Hermit card in the fourth week. It could also be that it's like if there was a lot of competing parties I'm hearing, but also like if there was a lot of opinions around you. When we now see the Hermit card, it's like getting back to how you really feel, like listening to other people give their opinions, right? Everyone has one, but then being like, okay, I'm process that, but I also need to get back to how I originally felt, or taking in both of those things. So like what I learned from maybe listening to others, but I gotta first go back to me before I can do that too. Okay. So again, you're gonna have more of this. I would call the fourth week here, Scorpio. It's a slow green light, but it's definitely a green light because it's that Earth Virgo energy. It is a little bit slower. But then it can lead to something that does pick up speed and it is more action oriented around it. Okay. So this is when we talk about your tarot confirmation card. So it's going to come in here. The Fortitude Strength card is what they call it in this deck. It's a strength card. It's going to come in here and confirm all 4 cards, all 4 weeks, that we just talked about here in November. Just moving everything down so you can kind of see them again. But yeah, this strength card is a combination of past and future energy. Okay. But because it was sitting on top of the Hermit, it makes me feel like, yeah, you need to take the time, or someone needs to take the time to slow down a little bit, to check in with the intuition, so then you can become strong again, right? So to slow down or to buy our time or to be patient doesn't mean that we're giving up, right? And that's what I was saying before. It doesn't mean that you or someone else or the energy is giving up. It just means um, that you're going with the flow and you're recharging your batteries, or someone is here, okay, with the general environment situation. So when we see this strength card here, Scorpio, on top of your slow green light, the Hermit card, and it is Leo energy, right? Now we can talk about the fire energy, the more action-oriented energy. And since we just did the astrology notes, I think that was when they talked about Mars entering Sagittarius, right? Which we said was around November 24th. So this could be the higher vibrational frequencies of not necessarily Mars or Sagittarius, but more Leo. So energy. So still fire sign energy. Okay. And what they call it in this deck, this is the Hermetic Tarot deck, they call it Daughter of the Flaming Sword. Okay. So really cool. I like that I can show you these cards more up close than I normally can, just so you can see all the detail and everything. I mean, I always take photos at the end and upload them too, but I don't know. Sometimes it's just kind of cool to see it in real time as well. Okay, so I really like this strength card energy here for you, Scorpio. And for the, again, the sun sign Scorpios out here, you might be like, man, this wasn't like an easy reading like for my season, right? But that is the way that the cards wanted to come out. And I have a lot of Scorpio in my chart too, and lots of friends that are Scorpio, my mom and everybody. A lot of women in my family are Scorpios. So yeah, like I said, there's always ups and downs for everyone, ebbs and flows, regardless of, like, let's say our birthday season. Okay. But this strength card, really oddly enough, I got a new deck of oracle cards that I guess you could say they're oracle cards, but they work with the tarot. It's called the 22 tarot oracle cards. But you actually got, and I did not know that this was going to happen. If you see me shuffle before, you've seen it where the same kind of cards come out, but you literally got, sorry, I got too close and it was fuzzy. You literally got the strength card, okay, for your oracle card for this time period. All right, right next to the other strength card. So let me see what it says here, right? It says infinity, number 8. So it talks about karma and totality. Okay, so bringing something to completion, infinity. It says, what goes around comes around. We're all connected and can heal when we know that everything obeys the laws of the universe. Okay, so yes, what goes around comes around. That's definitely for sure. That's the karma and the totality and the infinity. If we think of the infinity symbol, it is 8 on its side, right? The number 8. Okay, so it's definitely can be a particular message from spirit when you have two different cards talking about the same kind of energy. So special message here for you, Scorpio. All right. And then I also pulled an additional oracle card, or it just kind of came out here. And I had to look it up, so I wrote my little notes right here for it, because I'm not so good with numerology. That's actually why I got this deck, because I want to get better at numerology. But you got the card 22. And remember how I said this deck is called the 22 Tarot? It talks about the major arcana. It's only dealing with the major arcanas in the tarot. So it says under here couple, and then it says mind, and then it just says 22. Right, and then we have the circle. So it says, what I looked up, it says that when we think of the number 2, it's a very imaginative number, right? And when we think of couple, that is a 2, right? So that definitely makes sense, okay? But when we also think of 2, it can be like creativity, the creative mind, right? When we think of 2 and 2, right, that would be 4, okay? So it's also talking about the 22, the number. represents 2 and 4, right? So it's talking about the practicality of 4 in numerology, and it being, yes, it's a transformational number, but it's also, because it's an even number, there's something very like kind of practical or has symmetry to it, if that makes sense. Okay. Um, Now, it says when we're talking about the number 22 as well, it also has the insight of number 11 in numerology. Okay, so far 22 is talking about imagination, practicality, and insight. Okay, and 22 is known as the master builder. Okay, in numerology. So you could also say that the master builder is also another way to say um, manifester, okay, or the magician in the tarot, or yeah, just manifesting, okay. So again, when you put that master builder 22, imaginative, excuse me, practical and insightful all together with the strength card, that's really powerful, Scorpio, okay. Very, very cool. All right. So this is your reading that we have here for you so far, and I hope you got something from it. Always feel free to let me know in the comments down below or in the chat. I have turned the chat back on so far. If you happen to catch me live. But yes, I will also be uploading the one photo of all your cards here together that I always do for my readings. It is free, and I just put it on my Facebook page. So if you're interested, all you have to do is click in the description box below here and follow the little instructions, and I'll tell you how to get to that photo after I post it. After the live is done. All right, so now we are going to go ahead and switch over to Sagittarius. We are going to let these cards charge with the crystals a little bit, and maybe do some incense, maybe not. My allergies are kind of already in my throat, so I may not do the incense right now, but there's definitely other ways to clear the energy of the cards, right? Excuse me. So let's put this here first and kind of get them sitting on their correct deck first. Also wanted to say, as we close out the Scorpio part of the reading as well, that if you want to subscribe and you haven't yet, it also is free. All you have to do is have a YouTube account with your email, and I will just email you when I put out new readings and all that good stuff. And if you want to like the video, either a thumbs up or a thumbs down, it does help circulate the video more if you feel guided, and share it more with others, since I am doing these readings for free. Okay, so what we're going to do is, instead of doing the incense, and I usually do both, but we'll just do the sound bell for now. So clearing through vibrations, right, is a really powerful way to clear the energy of the cards in the last reading, so we can kind of come to a more like just neutral kind of balanced place, where we're not holding on to anything from the previous reading. So I'm just going to throw these in here. This is definitely not the shuffle yet, but we're just going to kind of randomly get them in there and turned around and everything. Okay. I lost my music again. Just a little bit. Astrology Notes. Oh yeah, so this is the 22 tarot numerology insights that will change your life. So it talks about, again, the 22 major, pretty cool little new oracle deck I got recently. So anyway, let's go ahead and do our sound bell here to clear the energy of the cards and ourselves. All right. So this is going to be for Sagittarius. If you're sensitive to sound or listening with headphones, just turn it down a little bit. I've been trying to do it softer since I am closer to the computer than I normally am. But yeah, this is a good place to take a couple of deep breaths to ground ourselves, for me and for you guys to check in with your spirit guides, guardian angels, etc., or just feel more in your body for a few minutes. All right. Okay. So this is going to be for Sagittarius. All right. Sagittarius. Let's do some shuffling for you. And switch over to Sagittarius. All right. Spirits, please guide my hands, please. Messages for fire sign Sagittarius, the Archer, for November 2023. What do they need to see? What do they need to know for the highest good? Spirits, please guide my hands. Messages for fire sign Sagittarius, the Archer, for November 2023. What do they need to see? What do they need to know for the highest good? Spirits, guide my hands, please. Messages for fire sign Sagittarius, for November 2023. What do they need to see to know if they're good? Maybe two more. This one. Messages for fire sign Sagittarius, the Archer. Spirits in my hands. Messages for Sagittarius for November 2023. Spirits, please guide my hands. Messages for fire sign Sagittarius for November 2023. Okay, leave that there for a second. Switch over here. Spirits, guide my hands, please. Messages for fire sign Sagittarius for November 2023. Oh, yes. You know what I also forgot to check? Should have done earlier. Was the sound? Okay, sound is good. Thank God. As I'm already on to the second part of the reading. Okay. Should have done that earlier, but thank God it works. Okay, let's do a few more shuffles here. Spirits, guide my hands, please. Spirits, guide my hands. Messages for fire sign Sagittarius for November 2023. Spirits, please guide my hands. Messages for fire sign Sagittarius, the Archer, for their highest good and truth for November 2023. Okay. Spirits, guide my hands, please. Messages for fire sign Sagittarius for November 2023. These are only 22 cards, so it's a lot easier to shuffle, not as thick. Sagittarius. Oh, a little piece of plastic coming out because it's brand new. All right, let's see. Maybe one more. Messages for fire sign Sagittarius for for November 2023. All right. So I was over there for a minute. Let's see here. More space. Okay. Spirits, guide my hands, please. Messages for fire sign Sagittarius for November 2023. What does fire sign Sagittarius need to see, need to know for the highest truth and good? For November, 3 more cards only, please. Messages for fire sign Sagittarius for November 2023. Messages for fire sign Sagittarius, the Archer, for November 2023. What do they need to see? What do they need to know? Messages for fire sign Sagittarius for November 2023. All right, so we take out 4 cards here. We'll figure out in a moment how Spirit wants these cards, which ones are reversed, which ones are side up. But before we do that, we're also going to take the top and bottom before we move on to the other deck. All right, and we'll figure out again how Spirit wants those in a few minutes. Spirits, guide my hands, please. Messages for fire sign Sagittarius for November 2023. 1 card only, please, Spirits. Messages for fire sign Sagittarius. Okay, that was coming out fast. All right, we're going to do the same thing. The top and bottom. Okay. And then our last deck here. And we'll figure out again where Spirit wants all these cards. My hands. Oh, you know what? This needs some powder. You guys are going to watch me do the powder. I haven't done this on the screen in a minute, but every time I get a new deck, I use some fanning powder to help it not stick as much. And it helps better shuffle. It's either for a new deck or a deck I haven't used in a while, and you just sprinkle it on. It's like a Vegas thing they do. And I guess you can do it with tarot too. Okay. So I'm trying to spread them out as much. Let's see, where's my powder? Here we go. Fanning powder. Okay. A little bit goes a lot of the way. Okay. Close it. There we go. All right. What I try to do is get both sides. So yeah, it makes the cards like less sticky. If that makes sense. Ooh. Be all over my table and my hands, but that's okay. So you gotta get messy. And then once I get them all figured out, I'll shuffle them again. I just wanted to put this on here first. Oh, there's a little plastic everywhere. Okay. Sorry guys, I forgot to do this earlier. Okay. Strangely relaxing though, something about it. Okay. For me anyway. Hopefully for you guys too. Hopefully you're not like, oh my god, hurry up, what is she doing? Like white powder all over the screen, hopefully not. Stay skeleton. good enough. Now that I got powder everywhere. It's okay. It's good for the cards. I didn't move them in the way that they were earlier, the other cards, so that's good. All right, last card here for Sagittarius. Spirits, guide my hands, please. Messages for fire sign Sagittarius for their highest good and truth for November 2023. Let's also do the regular shuffle too. Spirits, guide my hands, please. Messages for fire sign Sagittarius. One card only, please. Spirits. For November 2023, what does Sagittarius need to see? All right. Now we're all good. Let's see what we got and confirm these cards. So we'll start and move everything down here. All right, so Spirits, did you want the Queen of Cups in the reverse position to represent the first tarot card for the Sagittarius November reading? Thank you. Excuse me. And Spirits, did you want the Nine of Staves in the reverse position to represent the second tarot card for this Sagittarius November reading? Yeah, thank you. And Spirits, did you want the Judgment card in the reverse position to represent the fourth tarot card for this Sagittarius November reading? Yes. All right, thank you. And Spirits, did you want the Justice card in the reverse position to represent what's on top of this Hermaic Tarot deck for this Sagittarius November reading? Okay. Thank you. And Spirits, did you want the Death card in the reverse position to represent what's on the bottom of this Hermaic Tarot deck for this Sagittarius November reading? Yes. All right, that's good. And Spirits, did you want the Empress in the reverse position to represent what's on the bottom of this Ancestral Path Tarot deck for this Sagittarius November reading? Yes. Okay. And Spirits, did you want the Two of Wands in the reverse position to represent the one and only Tarot Confirmation card for this Sagittarius November reading? Yes. Okay, so we'll put that one over there where it goes. Crystals, move on down. Okay. Down a little bit. Now we'll figure out where these go and then we'll get started. Put there for now. Okay, so where do I think these go? I'm going to put that there so I can just see the other ones. I feel like this wants to go there, possibly, at the end. And these two. The second week, maybe. Second card. Let's see. Spirits, did you want me to talk about the High Priestess in the right side position and the Empress in the reverse position when I talk about the Nine of Staves in the reverse position? I want that there. That was strong. Okay, I definitely felt that. All right, let's check this one. Finish up here. Spirits, did you want me to talk about the Justice card in the right side of position, the Death card in the reverse position when I talk about the Judgment card in the reverse position? Yes. Okay. All right. So I'm going to move the cards down a little bit first so I can take the photo, and then I'll move them back so you guys can see them a little bit better for the on-screen stuff. Little dragon head. I'm like, go over there. Can't fit everything in here. We're gonna make it work. Hold on. Yes. Where did my Sagittarius thing go? All the way under here. Come back, Sagittarius. Okay. I'm gonna stand up real quickly just so I can make sure there's no glare on these cards. Okay. Oh, wait, that's got the glare. Hold on. Got a little bit of glare there. Okay, okay. Much better. All right. And focus, take a picture. Ta-da. Oops. As I'm like in the corner of my room and I keep hitting the wall there. Okay. We're at about 1 hour and 4 minutes. So I'll put that in the timestamps for later, for when we finish all of our shuffling and stuff, and for when officially the Sagittarius reading is starting. Okay. Move everything over more so you can see it again. Put the oracle card over here because it's going to be at the end anyway. Come on down. Let's see. Like I'm talking to the cards like it's Jeopardy. Okay. Is it Jeopardy that does that? Or The Price is Right? One of those? Okay. Music's good. All right. So let's see here, Sagittarius. Let's go ahead and call out your cards in order and then talk about what time frame these things may occur and all that good stuff. Okay. So we've got the Queen of Cups in the reverse position. We have the Nine of Staves, also known as Nine of Wands, in the reverse position. We have the Fool in the right side up position, and we have the Judgment card in the reverse position. So these are your first main four. We'll talk about the others a little bit later, okay? But let's talk about real quickly. Oh my God, I have so much fanning powder on my hands. They're like white. They're like, that girl needs lotion, but it's from the fanning powder. Let's talk about the potential time frames when some of these things may occur. So I'll say the dates real quickly, and then I'll say them again when we're on each card. But we were saying that the first card could be from around November 1st through the 7th. The second card, second week, can be from around November 8th through the 14th. The third card can be from around November 15th through the 21st, and the fourth card can be from around November 22nd through November 30th, or even into the first couple of days of December. Okay, again, they're not set in stone, they're just guidelines. Okay. All right, so whoa here, Sagittarius, first of all. Whoa. You've got a lot of major arcanas showing up throughout your reading here. Okay, so you've got 4 in the past and 2 in the future. Okay, so with 4 major arcanas in the past, you've got the High Priestess, Pisces energy, Scorpio energy. You have the Empress, Libra energy. You have Justice, Libra energy again. You have the Death card, Scorpio energy, and this is all past down here. We're just calling out the zodiac signs real quickly. They're showing up here through your reading before we get started. You have the Fool cards, this Gemini, Sagittarius energy. The Judgment card is Pisces energy. Okay, so for some of you guys, you could be dealing with a Pisces, a Libra, another Sagittarius, Gemini, or a Scorpio. Or you could have a lot of those in your chart, or someone else does heavily, or it could even be referencing Pisces season, Scorpio season, Libra season, Gemini, Sagittarius season of this year, of last year, or even next year. All right. Or again, it means nothing at all, but I just kind of like to call it out in the beginning. I really want to touch my hair, but I don't want to with all this powder on my hands. It's like I just sometimes, unconsciously touch my hair and I'm like, oh wait. Okay. So what I was saying though, Sagittarius, was when I was like, your reading is a little bit like, whoa, because the more major arcanas you have throughout your reading, they talk about a more significant amount of change. Okay. So it's because you had 4 in the past and 2 in the future, current, present energies or possibilities. It's like in the past. And what is the past, right? Time is fluid and relative. The past could be a couple of days ago, weeks, months, years, etc. Or yeah, the future could also be, coming up a couple of days from now, a couple of weeks from now, a couple of months from now, seconds, right? Whatever it is. But there's like a lot of change, a lot of majors, as we say, right? We're talking about your oracle card too. At the end is from this new oracle deck. I got the 22 tarot numerology insights. It talks about the 22 major arcanas. So out of 22 major arcanas, you have 6. Okay. So again, lots of change that probably already started to take place here in the past, and then some more coming up in the future. But let's go one by one and kind of break it down here, Sagittarius. So we have your first card is the Queen of Cups in the reverse position. I think this is supposed to be Guinevere from the kind of Celtic stories, right? So she is known as the kind of younger queen here, if we looked at her in the right side up position. But with it being in the reverse position here, Sagittarius, in that first week of November, for either you yourself or someone else, multiple people, general environment situation, it could be that you are feeling, or someone is feeling, general environment is feeling not emotionally satisfied with something here with this Queen of Cups in the reverse position. It is Cups energy, so water sign, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, right? You got Scorpio over there. But our bodies are 90% water. We drink water out of cups. So cups in the tarot are our emotions. So with this Queen of Cups in reverse position here, Sagittarius, it could be in the first week of November. You could be feeling a lack of confidence in something emotionally. Or it could be that you're not ready to level up in some area of your life emotionally yet with this Queen of Cups in the reverse position. Again, if it's not you, Sagittarius, it could be someone else in your life or a general environment energy. But yeah, it's like normally if the Queen of Cups is right side up, she has this stained glass window behind her, and then she's holding her own cup. So she's trying to blend tradition, old set rules and government and culture, etc., in with new, because she's a newer queen and she's a young queen. Okay, but because it's reverse, there could also be this energy, Sagittarius, of this kind of trying to not being able to find balance between traditional stuff and more newer, new age, new ways of thinking around something emotionally here as well. Okay. But, if I was to pause your reading right here, Sagittarius, and there was something that, you wanted to accomplish during the month of November that's within your own control, like let's say travel or something like this. Not that all travel is within our control, but you know what I mean, something within your control. I would say that the first 2 weeks are, well, the first week is definitely a red light. The second week could be more like a yellow. Then you've got a green in the third week. And then your fourth week is, it's more of a yellow. So it's like red, yellow, green, yellow. Okay. So again, if there's something you want to accomplish within your control, do it in the third week, Sagittarius. Okay. So that could be from around November 15th through the 21st or so, or whatever you consider the third week of November for you, because that's when the energy is more conducive to that. Okay. Let's see what else. So back to where we were up here, though. We go from that Queen of Cups in the reverse position in the first week to now the second week. A beautiful reversal here, Sagittarius. Okay, so this is why this is more of an orange and this is more of a red. So this one is not so much the beautifulest one, right? But this is what you and how you want to see this card. So this Nine of Staves, or also known as Nine of Wands in the reverse position, is about coming out of a burned out energy and finally getting the rest that was needed. Okay, when we talk about staves or wands, we're talking about our physical body, our health, right? Our physical health. So here, again, with it being in the reverse position, this guy before was going through a rite of passage and he was really tired. So he had to go away, let's say, from his village and prove that he can hunt some kind of animal to provide, and he's been tracking the animal, and he can't get it. So he's almost wanting to give up. So this is burnout energy, needing to take a rest, focus on health. But being in the reverse position, it's like you have already done that, Sagittarius, or someone you're dealing with, multiple people, general environment situation. So someone here is taken the physical rest that they needed, okay, in this second week. So that's why it's more of a yellow, because it's like starting to eventually get to green, but it's not green yet. It's still yellow in the second week. Okay. But let's look what's underneath it too to get even more insight about what is going on here. Okay. So this is past energy. We've got the high priestess in the right side up position on one side, and then we have the empress in the reverse position on the other side. And these two cards are the sponsor cards that made it possible for this nine of staves in the reverse position to show up here. Okay, so we've got, this Pisces Scorpio energy on one side about the knowledge of self. So this woman is holding these scrolls. She's got the moon on her head, right, in her hat and her veil. So she's in touch with her intuition, her divine feminine energy, okay, so to speak. We see a nice duality between light and dark, right, in the description of the card as well, okay. And then she also, on one of the scrolls here in this deck, I believe it's some alchemy stuff, maybe even, yeah, we'll just say it's alchemy. It could be Kabbalah. I don't really know. I'm not super familiar with the Kabbalah stuff, but it doesn't matter, right? It's about esoteric knowledge or secret knowledge that not everyone knows. So because I don't know the Kabbalah, right, if that's what it is, or I don't know that everything about alchemy either, then that would also be known as secret knowledge. But it's also, those scrolls are knowledge of self. So until we know ourselves, we can't know anyone else, right? So this is that divine feminine intuitive energy with the high priestess. Now, when it's right next to the empress in reverse, it's like, whoa, what happened here, right? And this is, again, past energy, Sagittarius. So in the past, on one hand, there was a very positive divine feminine energy that was very intuitive and was holding the secrets that they were supposed to hold, if there was a secret you were supposed to hold, or someone else. But then on the other hand, with the empress in the reverse, it's like there was this, I'm trying to think of the way to say it for a general reading for all you guys. There was this confidence issue for some, but not everybody, about I'm not quite ready to be an empress though. Like, I have all the intuition and people look up to me and come to me for advice and truth, but I don't yet feel like a bad bitch, a boss bitch, a businesswoman, a CEO, right? That is the empress. So someone in the past didn't feel like the empress, okay? It could also be that in the past here, Sagittarius, someone or something was having a hard time planting seeds for the future. So she is pregnant, right? So planning for the future. We see the waterfall, the water in the background. So she's using her emotions, if she was right side up, to plan something, to strategize, to be a businesswoman, the CEO, etc. Right? But because it was in reverse in the past here, it could be a lack of confidence. And it could also just be that in the past, somebody was burnt out. Somebody needed to take that physical rest to look attention to their physical health. Okay. So if we have more rest, then perhaps we can be more confident. We can merge these two powerful women together, let's say. Okay. So again, we're just kind of looking at the past energy along with the current, present possibilities, energies, and seeing what's coming up here. So let's keep moving forward here, Sagittarius. So now, by the time we get to your third week, we have that green light finally. Okay, so now we have the Fool in the right side up position. So this Gemini Sagittarius energy, okay? But the Fool is all about making a leap of faith, fresh start energy, okay? Um, it's about trusting in something that we can't see yet, okay? Now, because in this deck we see this tarot reader, and she's holding one of the cards, and then behind her is a mirror. So the mirror represents ego, identity, all that kind of stuff. So when we talk about the Fool or being foolish, right? It's like, well, do we care how other people see us or how we see ourselves? If we know it's something that we need to do, or want to do, that we don't necessarily know what the outcome is going to be. So are we going to make that leap of faith and not care how other people see us, or even how, let's say, we see ourselves, right? Are we going to still make that leap of faith here? Okay. So because it is a general reading, it'll be a little bit different for everybody. Um, but I feel that there is still, well, hold on, let me look here before I say. Yeah, no, my intuition was right. I feel that there's still something holding you back here, Sagittarius. Okay, so I don't feel necessarily that you might be able to make some leaps of faith in some ways with this full energy in your third week of November. You might be able to again look at issues, any issues of ego and identity with yourself and or others. But there's still kind of something that it's not a full leap of faith. So let's say you're playing a video game, right? Or you're looking at a picture and you see that this little character has three, what the hell do you call it? Three stretches of land where there are no bridges, right? And so they have to get from one side of the cliff to the other with no bridge. They have to jump. So it's like, let's say that the first two little jumps are smaller. And so you can do that, Sagittarius, or someone else can do that in the first two with that full energy. But because of the next card that's following it, the third jump is like way bigger. And so I don't feel intuitively that you're ready for that just yet. Okay. But it doesn't mean that it won't come later. So let's break it down and see kind of why I'm picking up that. Okay. So again, from the Fool in the right side up position in the third week to now the Judgment card in the reverse position in that fourth week. And we said this one could be November 15th through the 21st, and this one can be from around November 22nd through November 30th, or even into the first few days of December, but none of that is set in stone. It's just general guidelines as far as the timing. But yeah, with this Judgment card in the reverse position, I don't know why, Sagittarius, when you get the Judgment card in your readings, you also always seem to get the Justice card. Not every time, but like a lot. Okay. And I don't know if I just remember it more because I'm a sun sign Sag or what. But yeah, it's definitely interesting. But let's look at both cards, okay, that were underneath the Judgment card to get even more insight. All right, so the black and white cards are from the past, energy from the past, that made it possible for the Judgment card in reverse position to show up in the future, current, present energies. So we have Justice card in the right side of position on one hand, and then we have the Death card in the reverse position on the other hand. Okay, so Sagittarius, it could be that something was brought to justice, someone's actions were justified, things were brought into balance in some way in the past. But even though that happened, there was some type of ending, new beginning that didn't happen. It could have been that somebody, or you yourself, or multiple people, general environment situation, was resisting this type of change. Okay. And so then when we look at it with the Judgment card in the reverse position, and the future, current, present energies, it's almost like you or someone else wants to stop doing that, right? Like If things feel balanced, then why do I resist it? Or why does the other person resist it? Or why, um, yeah, why can't I let it go? Or the other person or multiple people, general environment situation, right? As an example, if we're used to coming from a certain way that we were raised or something, or lots of, oh, I just touched my hair with all the stuff, sorry. Or if we were in an environment that had a lot of trauma that happened either to us ourselves or someone else that we really cared about, then maybe we're not used to like things being in more balanced. Okay, not always on the more negative trauma drama side. Okay, so if something is now more wanting to be more balanced, we might resist that because that's like all we do, right? Or it could also be, no, that's what it feels like here, Sagittarius. I don't think there's another way it goes. That's just really what it feels like. It's like until you or someone else puts this to rest and decides, I don't want to do that anymore. I just want to be more balanced in general. Like I want to have ups and downs, not just downs all the time, right? Um, I want to have endings and new beginnings. I want to clean out my closet from time to time, right? I want to have endings and new beginnings. I want to clean out my closet from time to time, right? I want new clothes, right? All the things. It was like this though. Um, yeah, the closet being a metaphor for clothes and stuff. But mm, let's see what your confirmation card is too, though, because there's something else I'm trying to find the way to say. But let's see, it might be here in your confirmation card. All right, so this card is going to come in and confirm all 4 weeks, all 4 cards at the top that we just kind of talked about, and it is a combination of past and future energy because this is the energy that we're picking up so far for your reading for November. But we always have free will and choice, right? And like I said before, time is fluid and relative. So this is a combination of past and future energy. Anyway, the card that you got is the Two of Wands in the reverse position. Okay. And it was sitting on top of the Judgment card. So it makes me feel like Sagittarius, there is this a feeling of, again, not enough growth, not enough prosperity, not enough higher vibrational frequencies of fire energy. So over here we have a little bit of Aries energy. There could be Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, right? But more Aries here. So if we want more go-getter energy or entrepreneurship or more taking physical action in our physical body, we can do that, but we have to have control over ourselves and our physical body. So what they call this card in this deck, the Hermetic deck, is the Two of Wands is called the Lord of Dominion. Okay. So the Lord of taking control, let's say. So Sagittarius, I feel like it's saying, again, if we want to put something to rest so we can rest and go to sleep, you see this woman here, the card was right side up, just for reference, I forgot to show you this earlier. She's leaping up to fight herself in the mirror, self-sabotaging energy. But that's not really what we're focusing on. We're focusing more on the bed, right? So because it was reversed here, Sagittarius, it's almost like if we want to put something to rest and not do it anymore so we can get rest, physical body, and get more physical in our body and have more prosperity and growth and all that kind of action energy. Sagittarius, how I mentioned in the beginning of the reading before Scorpio, I went over the astrology notes and what did I say? Mars enters Sagittarius on November 24th. That would be in that last week, right? So I would look more into that or watch the beginning of this video because um, you can, harness that Mars energy. Mars is the ruler of Aries, and you have Aries here too. So um, just put down whatever you need to put down and embrace this change, right? And this is the past. In the past, maybe you didn't embrace this change in some way, or someone else didn't, the general environment didn't. But now you're like, I want to make that full leap of faith. I made the first two. I kind of did the baby steps, but now I want to do like the full step here. Okay. So let's see what your Oracle card real quickly is before we wrap it up, Sagittarius. So for this time period and beyond, right, you got the Chariot card in this deck, which is an Oracle deck that talks about the 22 major arcanas and numerology. Okay, so it has number 7 on it. It says insight and philosophy, and then it says light. Okay. I'll just read you the card too. It says, connect to higher knowledge through philosophy and meditation. See the bigger picture and find the hidden meaning and the light. Okay. So when I think of Sagittarius and philosophy, I'm like, okay, that definitely goes together, right? We're talking about Jupiter earlier in the astrology notes. Jupiter rules Sagittarius, it's education. Okay. So education, philosophy would definitely go under that. All right. But yeah, the Chariot is also um, it's an action card, tarot, right? So we normally see a man or woman charging through the water, and they're on a chariot being pulled by some horses or some lions or whatever. And so it's like using our emotions, the water, to then make physical actions and take action. Okay. So I feel like that's going to be kind of a big theme here for you, Sagittarius, in November. All right. But yeah, I also want to say ahead of time, and I'll say it for the December readings, of course, but way early happy birthday to all the sun sign Sagittariuses out there that either have their birthday um, towards the end of November or the beginning of December. Okay. But like I said before, I will upload the photo that I took of all of these cards together in case you want to see it more up close in detail or just have it for later. So I just post it for free on my Facebook. So if that's something you want to check out, all you have to do is go in the description box below and follow the little instructions there. And I usually upload it about 5 or 10 minutes after this live is done, if that's something that you're interested in. And also, if you wanted to subscribe and you haven't yet, it is free as well. All you have to do is hit the subscribe button. And as long as you have a YouTube account with your email, it just notifies you when I put out new videos. And if you want to like this video or even dislike it, any interaction with the video in the first couple of days on YouTube does help share it for free more with out there. So I definitely appreciate that too if you feel guided. But yeah, other than that, that is your reading, dear Sagittarius. Always feel free to let me know in the comments down below too how you're feeling and all that good stuff, and how this may make sense for you right now or even later. But yeah, you guys take care, and I will be back tomorrow going forward through the rest of the signs. So we'll be doing Capricorn and Aquarius tomorrow. Maybe more, but we'll see as far as my schedule goes at work and stuff. All right. But you guys take care, and I'll see you later. All right. Bye.